Deep in the remote forested hills of Vermont stood an aged solitary schoolhouse. The locals called it Whispering Pines, a name born from the wind whistling through the tall pines surrounding the building. It was a relic of a bygone era, its wooden structure weathered gray and worn, windows boarded up like vacant eyes, the paint peeled, revealing rotting wood beneath. The schoolyard, once a place of laughter and games, was now choked with weeds, tombstones of a forgotten childhood. The air around the schoolhouse always felt heavy, burdened with an unseen weight, a silent testament to the horrors that had unfolded there. The bell tower, its bronze bell long gone, stood crooked, a silent sentinel against the unforgiving sky. The once bright red door hung precariously from one hinge, a gaping maw leading into the darkened abyss within. Whispering Pines had been abandoned for decades, left to decay and crumble under the weight of its tragic past. Yet, whispers of strange occurrences, of ghostly apparitions, and chilling sounds emanating from the old building persisted. Most dismissed them as mere folklore, the ramblings of frightened minds. But some, those who dared to venture near the schoolhouse after dark, knew the rumors were true. Whispering Pines was not merely abandoned, it was haunted. Every night, as the clock chimed midnight, a spectral transformation overtook Whispering Pines. The dilapidated structure seemed to sigh and groan, shaking off the weight of time and neglect. The boarded-up windows glowed with an eerie internal light. Ethereal voices, like whispers on the wind, drifted from within, carrying the faint murmur of lessons being recited, hymns being sung. The rustling of papers, the scratching of chalk on slate, and the hushed tones of a ghostly teacher filled the night. These were the sounds of the midnight classes, a spectral echo of the school's past, a haunting reminder of the lives tragically cut short. Ghostly children, their forms diaphanous and shimmering, sat attentively at their desks, their spectral eyes fixed on the ghostly figure of their teacher, a kind-faced woman with long flowing hair and a perpetually sad smile. Their lessons were the same ones taught within those very walls decades ago, their voices a chilling chorus that sent shivers down the spines of any living soul unfortunate enough to hear them. His father, with trembling hands and eyes filled with unshed tears, had recounted the events of that fateful day to Ethan. He spoke of the terror that gripped the town as the earth shook, the heart-wrenching cries of trapped children, the desperate scramble to save them. He described the agonizing weight, the dwindling hope, and finally, the crushing realization that none trapped within the schoolhouse had survived. Ethan listened, his own heart heavy with the weight of his father's grief. He understood now why his father never spoke of the schoolhouse, why his eyes always clouded with pain whenever it was mentioned. "They say their spirits are trapped there, Ethan," his father had whispered, his voice hoarse with emotion, "forever bound to the place where they took their last breath." Ethan, though skeptical at first, couldn't help but feel a shiver run down his spine. Ethan carefully picked up the book, his fingers brushing against the cold, damp pages. As he did so, he felt a sudden, intense chill, as if an unseen presence had entered the room. He quickly glanced around, his heart pounding in his chest, but saw nothing. He was alone, yet he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, scrutinized by unseen eyes. A sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut with a deafening bang, plunging the room into darkness. Ethan jumped, dropping the book in fright. As he fumbled for his flashlight, he heard a soft whisper coming from the corner of the room, a mournful, chilling sound that seemed to seep into his very soul. Frozen in terror, Ethan slowly turned towards the source of the whisper. His flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing nothing but an empty corner, cobwebs swaying gently in the breeze. He could still hear the whisper, faint but distinct, as if the very walls of the schoolhouse were trying to communicate with him. He knew then that the stories were true. Whispering Pines was indeed haunted, the spirits of the children and their teacher forever bound to the place of their demise. He felt a profound sadness wash over him, a sense of loss for the lives cut tragically short, for the potential forever unrealized.